Come on, BTC.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike, and I am trying to get the volume not to be as loud as normal. What a weekend we have had. I hope many of you have been keeping up to date with what happened at Bitcoin 2024 in Nashville. The great orange man himself speaketh about Bitcoin and crypto and Gary Gensler. We're going to cover that off, don't worry, at the beginning of the show. We've got a good show today. We're going to go through Saylor, why I think Saylor is high. Peter pokes Vitalik. What is that about? Hong Kong reserves. Are they going to start holding Bitcoin in their reserves? Casper, a blockchain, has had to reboot because of hacking attempts. We're going to go through an RWA blockchain, an interview with one of the leading RWA blockchains. Peter might find that interesting. And Ledger have launched a new ledger, which they released at the Bitcoin conference this weekend. So we're going to go through all of that. And a quick good morning to a few people who are in chat. Peter is here, Reza is here. Who else is in chat? Hidden Agendas is here, Velvet Rope is here. Good morning to you all. It is a Monday. I'm expecting people to slide in ever so slowly over the next few minutes. So we're not going to dive straight in too quickly to the news. So what we'll do is we'll have a look at the charts. Remember, if you are new here, smash the like button and give us a follow. Look in the bottom left hand corner. Ladies and gentlemen, we broke 150,000 followers on Friday. I believe it happened just before or just during Brogan's live stream. So we hit 150,000 people. That was the target for July. As you can see, we've still got 3 days left. So we're ahead of schedule, but only just. Thank you, Peter. So the target for the end of the year is to get to 200,000 followers. And again, the more followers we get, the more opportunities we get for sponsorships and for videos and all of those wonderful things. And of course, whenever we talk to people about content, especially doing AMAs, we always talk to them about having a community giveaway where we give back to you guys for watching us every day. But as you can see, we don't do many of them simply because the majority of people that contact us are scammers, and we will not take money from scammers. So that is why we are poor, because we do not get bribed easily. And I said easily there. Right then, let's look at the charts. Good morning, Bullish Bull. Bitcoin is coming in at 69.5-ish. Ethereum still under $3,400. Solana coming in. Look at Solana. Okay, we said $200 is around the corner, and from what I'm going to go through this week, I wouldn't bet against it. BNB coming in just under $600 as well, but look at the flip. Solana is coming in just under 90 billion. BNB coming in at 86 billion. I would expect, and I am not a betting man, that we will see a $100 billion Solana very soon. If things go this week as I expect, then we will see a $100 billion Solana, and of course a lot higher. Market cap then coming in at 2.48 trillion, up 3.4%. 24-hour volume 52 billion to be expected. It is the weekend after all. And Bitcoin dominance and ETH dominance still coming in 71-72%. That hasn't really changed an awful lot. And we have some charts that I'm going to show you that we're going to look at every week from now on. I think we've got what do we have? We've got the Bitcoin CME gap to look at, and we've got a few other things to look at as well. So we have got a few things to look at today as well. Gainers and losers then. EOS is up 25%, Book of Meme is up 20%, eCash is up, Bitcoin SV, Bitcoin Cash, Brett. Now Brett is a good buy at 11 cents. I don't know how long it's going to be at 11 cents for. I'm just saying 11 cents was a good buy price for me. Thor, one of Brogan's favourites, is just under $5. Radium is popping off, as is Arweave, as is a little bit of Beam. And losers then. Mantra is retraced just a tad. Remember, Mantra has been on an almighty run. Pyth is still looking good at those prices. And then we don't really have a lot of losers. So all in all, a fairly good 24 hours. Now then, we're going to start with a video. And I haven't played these for probably a week now. Remember, although we are all bullish, what we do not want to do, ladies and gentlemen, is we don't want to feed the goddamn bear. Don't feed the bear. We do not want to feed the bear. It's not a pet. The bear will come and get us. And there we go. And the bears, yeah, there we go. So don't feed the bear. That's the key. We know that we are probably a week or so away from all-time highs. We know that. But it doesn't mean we're out of the woods. It also doesn't mean that we're going to go to 74,000 and then straight to 150,000. It means we might go to 74 to 69 to 74. So just be careful that you don't get overly optimistic. We're not out of the woods. We're still surrounded by the bears. Now then, this is probably the simplest breakdown of what Trump covered. And then I'm going to give you my opinion on this because I think it's important that people are getting carried away. So Donald Trump spoke. He will fire Gary Gensler on day one. He will create a strategic stockpile. They will keep 100% of the Bitcoin it currently owns, which is about 210,000 or so. Bitcoin is going to the moon. Never sell your Bitcoin. Bitcoin will one day surpass the market cap of gold. His pledge is to release Ross. There will never be a CBDC. Bitcoin and crypto will skyrocket. Yes. Not threatening the dollar. USA will become the crypto capital of the planet. Bitcoin stands for freedom, sovereignty, and independence from government, coercion, and control. I pledge to the Bitcoin community that the day I take oath of office, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's anti-crypto crusade will be over. Now, I just want to point some things out. There is a lot of people. Good morning, Eugene. From Florence, South Carolina again. Right, okay, let me try and explain things. I am an old person, okay? I will be 50 in October, so I am not a kid. And I am watching a lot of these young crypto bros telling you how Donald Trump didn't go far enough, Donald Trump didn't know this, he didn't know that, whatever, okay. Donald Trump is a politician. As I said on Friday, how do you know if a politician is lying? Their lips are moving. Okay, Remember that line and let that line stay with you. Donald Trump's job is to convince enough people to vote him into power. That's his job. His job is not to understand the intricacies of Bitcoin. It is not to understand infinity over 21. His job is not to understand the halving. His job is to win the election and change the country for the better in his eyes. That's his job, okay? So all of these degens that came out and said, oh, he didn't tell us specifically about the national, the strategy, he didn't mention numbers. It's not his job. When he becomes the president, he will not sit down and discuss with the various different leaders around the world the intricacies of the deals. It's not his job. If that's what you think the President of America or the UK should do, then you have not been in politics long enough. I have been studying politics since A-levels, which was 33 years ago, okay? Politicians employ people who are specifically employed for a task, and that could be crypto, housing, transport. They then get up to speed on that particular job. Why does a government have a cabinet? Because one man or woman cannot do everything. Donald Trump specifically said he would fire Gary Gensler. He specifically said there would be a strategic national reserve. Okay? He specifically said there would be no CBDC. What do people want? What do people expect? Cynthia Lummis got up on stage and went through the details of building the stockpile, how they were going to be buying Bitcoin every day. She's the details person, not Donald Trump, okay? He is a master of words, or he is supposed to be the master of words, as was Obama, as was Bush, as was Reagan, okay? Reagan stood up and started talking about Star Wars, okay? So let's not think that Donald Trump is the highest IQ president that's ever lived or the highest IQ individual on the planet. His job is to tell you the direction he wants to lead the country. So that's why it's important to listen to what he said. We say this about Powell all the time. Listen to what he is saying and listen to what he isn't saying. Donald Trump gave you everything we needed in that speech. Okay? Strategic reserve. Gary Gensler gone. No CBDC. What more do you want? Okay? He's not going to give. We're going to go through Michael Saylor in a minute. Michael Saylor gave you specifics coming out of the wazoo. He's completely high and he's completely wrong. And we're going to get to that in a minute. So Donald Trump did exactly what I wanted him to do and what anyone outside of crypto would have expected him to do. And that is appreciate that we have, let's not forget this, it's a $2.5 trillion asset. It's tiny. It's a speck of dust in the great American economic system. But he appreciates that it will grow to become a new American industry. So roll your necks back in, everybody who thought he was going to say specifics. It's not how it works. There are people now on X retracting their statements saying that they understand now. I know, they're kids. They're 20-year-olds who've never listened to politicians. Anyway, so Donald Trump just announced that the US will not only hold on to the 215,000 Bitcoin, but they will buy more. This is the list of countries that own Bitcoin. So if you want to look at the next race, if you want to call it that, for assets, we have the usual suspects. We have the USA, we have China, we have the UK, and we have Germany. We also have, in the top right-hand corner, El Salvador, which is a population of a very few million people, and they are buying, I think, is it 1 Bitcoin a day? Go them. Not sure why the Ukraine has 46,000, but I don't think we're going to mention that on the stream because there's certain words you cannot say, trigger words on the stream that cause the stream to go down. Anyway, I'm getting some comments. There is a stock market correction coming. How will that affect crypto? It will affect crypto. Of course, it will affect crypto. However, we're in a bull run and we depegged from the stock market some weeks ago. So I'm not expecting it to have a massive downward effect. Many of these young bucks live in a crypto bubble and don't see the larger picture. Absolutely spot on, Eugene. Absolutely spot on. I have this conversation with Brogan all the time. Brogan is, of course, the oracle. Charts show you patterns within what's going on in crypto. You know, bull flags, bear flags, bullish divs, bearish divs, head and shoulders. It's great. But then somebody comes along and announces something and it changes the course or the direction of a market. Jerome Powell is going to be that person, and we're going to get onto that later. The key is to watch both markets, to watch the crypto market and the global market. And we've had a new Prime Minister in the UK, which is a left-wing Prime Minister. Europe is going right-wing. That's going to cause problems. We have China and Taiwan. What's going to go on there? We have Trump coming into America, so America is going to be strong. Remember, we've had a weak America for 3.5 years, and anybody that disagrees with that has not seen the cold light of day. Joe Biden might not have been the worst president, as Trump has been calling him, but he's been the weakest president I have seen in my lifetime, and I'm going back 35 years. And he's the worst president. He's worse than George W. And George W. was bad. What happens if the laughing Gala Harris wins? She's not going to win. She's 18 points behind in a poll. Again, people don't understand. Polls reflect what the pollsters want them to reflect. And that is, they will go to certain places and interview and ask certain people, and they will try and sway the polls. Kamala Harris is 18 points behind in a two-horse race. She's 18 points behind in a two-horse race. That is roughly 1/5 of America behind. So in context, she is 70 million people behind in the polls. 70 million people have to be swayed by Kamala Harris in the next 3 months to win. Think about that. The entire population of the UK has to change its opinion on one person in that time. And yes, she suffers from, what's the name of it now? Spaghetti speech or whatever it's called, where she falls over her words. It doesn't mean she's unintelligent, but she means she doesn't understand what she's talking about a lot of the time. So it's a foregone conclusion. If you look at the UK, normally if you had Rishi Sunak up against Keir Starmer, it might be, I don't know, 5 percentage points different, 6 percentage points different in a normal election year. We're talking about 18 points, and she's in a honeymoon period. This is going to be the biggest election victory in the history of America, and there's no disagreement on that. I mean, I think out of the 50-odd states, I think he's up in 42 of them, which is unheard of. Anyway, now, big day. That is on Wednesday. She speaks in riddles. She does. What has gone before does not mean that it will happen again. I think what happened, I think she went to a Star Wars convention and met Yoda and accidentally swallowed Yoda, and now Yoda speaks through her. Wednesday the 31st of July at 9:30, we have Fed Decision Day. Trueflation, which is one of the X accounts that I follow, it shows you the inflation rates in the UK and in America. It's pretty good, more accurate than what you're told by your politicians. Big day. Are we going to see a rate cut? Are we going to see the rates come down? If I was a betting man, I would say that we are going to see the rates come down. Is that supposed to be Joe Biden? No, that's Jerome Powell. So expect a rate cut on July the 31st, and that is possibly one of the reasons why we could break all-time highs this week. The USA News shows charts even closer, pro-public channels. I don't believe there are pro-public channels. I'm going off the data that is published by independent news reporters, and the issue that I've got is they'll carry out a poll, and the poll will split the result up by demographics. So if they interview 5,000 people and 2,000 of them are women and 2,000 of those women are more likely to vote for Kamala Harris, they'll show that result in the polls. They're very, very selective about what they show. I think the term is there's lies, damn lies in statistics. And I try and find the most holistic set of polls. And I think across the board, it's 58%. Right then, a big week for Jupiter. I know a lot of you hold Jupiter thanks to us. On Tuesday, we don't care about the audit. On Wednesday, the proposal will be made. And Thursday, there will be the vote. So there are 10 billion Jupe. The proposal is to reduce it to 3 billion Jupe. Sorry, to 7 billion Jupe. So they're going to reduce it by 3. I'm not going to bring... Actually, I might bring up the price later. Jupe is starting to pump. I have said on many occasions that Jupe at $1.50 is overbought. It's overbought at $1.50 with a circulating supply of 10 billion. If we go to a circulating supply of 7 billion, or not circulating supply, total supply of 7 billion, then I think $2 would be a fair price for Jupe, not $1.50. But again, we're still early in the bull run. So, the vote will be concluded on Sunday. I am expecting a landslide victory for the reduction in circulation. Burning 30% of the supply is what you want. Now, this is massively bullish. Jupiter or Aero, which is better? Jupiter is better, and the reason that Jupiter is better is that Jupiter is bringing on board more than just a DEX. If you're looking at real-world assets, if you're looking at tokenization of stocks, if you're looking at leverage accounts, if you're looking at dollar cost averaging, if you're looking at liquidity, I don't know if there's a single metric where Aero beats Jupiter as a product. That is, if you're talking about the price of holding the token, then maybe Aero, yes. But I think we're looking at maybe $5 to $10 Jupe in the bull run, something like that. So there's still a long way to go. Now this is again the last X file because we're 20 minutes into the show. VanEck CEO says he owns way over 30% of his portfolio in Bitcoin. 30% of VanEck's CEO's portfolio is in Bitcoin. Think about that. So remember what they were saying all those days. Oh, we don't want to be investing in crypto. It's for scammers. It's for illegals. It's for everything. Goldfinch is excellent, Eugene. I made a video for the OGs, the paid members. I made a video, and in my video I covered some micro caps, and I don't think Goldfish was included. Goldfinch was included, I don't think, but Goldfinch was one of the ones that I think is an absolute steal. Now then, this is the CME gap, which I'm going to keep my beady eye on. What is the CME gap? It is this Chicago Merchant Exchange gap when the market closes on Friday. This happens. Okay, there is a gap. And where do we think the price could come down to if we have a correction? It will come down to here. Now, we do not always fill the CME gaps. That CME gap, we didn't need to worry about that because we were already in it when the markets opened. There have been occasions where there have been gaps that have just never closed. So that gap there was 58 to 61,000. It never closed. Okay, so it's not a hard, fast rule that we have to close these gaps. The reason I am pointing it out today is that we are not a million miles away from it, but it would need somewhat of a correction to get down there. So again, they don't have to close, but there is a gap between, as I said, I think it's about 6, oh no, it's this one over here. Is this one? No, this one over here, yeah. So there is a gap down here at 66,000, which is what, a 5% move down maybe? I don't know whether we're going to fill it or not, but there we go. Now the thing I wanted to show you, but for some reason I haven't got it in my charts. Bitcoin dominance. We need to go to the daily on Bitcoin dominance. No, weekly. Go to weekly on Bitcoin dominance. There we go. There's my lovely little, we're going to call them Madonnas. We're going to call out those two things there Madonnas. They are our lovely Madonnas. Now then, what is this chart talking about? This is where Bitcoin dominance will go before it breaks down. When the Bitcoin dominance breaks down, that is when the alts start to run. This is the percentage of the overall market owned by Bitcoin. It's currently 56.5%. Where did I think it was going to get to? This line here, 56.4. We're at 56.56. When it breaks down, which could be the end of the year, where is it going to break down from? Now, Ben Cowan, he's got astrophysics masters, he's got maths masters, he's a genius. He's that clever, his hair is falling out to make room for his brain. And you know what? He has predicted 60%, and he could very well see a 60% Bitcoin dominance of the market. The reason I said it wasn't going to happen was that I was expecting Ethereum to go on a rip. I still expect Ethereum to go on a rip, by the way. Those 4,000 targets, 5,000 targets for Ethereum, they're still there. We've had the sell-off. What do you expect? The sell-off happened. I don't know whether it will last as long as Bitcoin's, but you know, $4,000, $5,000, even $6,000 Ethereum, it's going to happen, and that will bring down the Bitcoin dominance. It just will. And then the last thing we're going to look at is the DXY at the start. We might do this at the start of the week. Again, bullish for Bitcoin. It's broken down. It's below its bull market support band. We need it to get a retest, and then we need it to do that. Interest rate cuts would be ideal roundabout now. Thank you very much. Now let's get on with some actual news. Now, Sailor is high. What am I talking about? Okay. What does your government like to do on a monthly basis? It likes to tax you. It likes to charge you tax on your property, tax on your wages, tax on your capital gains, tax on everything. Now, in America, especially in America, they have property taxes, which are, I think, 1%, 1.5% a year. And they also have income tax, state tax. They've just got a plethora of taxes. They're as bad as Denmark. Now, the fundamental flaw in Michael Saylor's approach is this. He has predicted a $49 million Bitcoin. There he is. I've watched the entire, I think it was about 45 minutes speech. If you want to understand Bitcoin, watch that speech. If you want to understand how it works, if you want to understand how Bitcoin appreciates in value, if you want to understand how Bitcoin compares to gold, to property, to silver, to the stock market, to bonds, watch this video. It was 45 minutes of everything you would need to know about Bitcoin, but he was fundamentally flawed. And I'm going to get onto it at the end when I've read this out. From a bearish point of view, the CEO believes Bitcoin will be at least $3 million. Is this in 2045? Yeah. Which should have a market cap of 68 trillion. He expects it to be 2% of global assets. The bullish case, Bitcoin, he will expect to be 49 million per Bitcoin. That gives it a market cap of 1,030. Sorry, what is it? 1,030 trillion. At such heights, Bitcoin will provide an annual recurring revenue of 37, which represents 22% of all financial assets in the world. So clearly, it's not going to $49 million. He did say, base scenario, $13 million. That will get 7% market dominance, 280 trillion. Bitcoin is expected to have an APR of 29%. What he is talking about in here is how can you derive your value from Bitcoin? If you hold Bitcoin, you can't stake it. There's no proof of stake. So what he is suggesting is you borrow against your Bitcoin. Now, he is saying if you borrow at 3% and it has an APR of 29%, you can keep borrowing against your Bitcoin forever, and you will never have to cash in your loan because the collateral of your Bitcoin will always outperform the loan. So that's what he is saying. And again, there is arguments that's what rich people do all the time. Rich people borrow at 4 or 5% and then make 20% yield. Their value of their stocks, their value of their property goes up so much that they never have to repay the loans. So that's kind of understandable. He then talks about, let's get to the end of the article. There we go. So there's your base scenario, and there is a flaw in everything he has said here. And that flaw is that when he is comparing Bitcoin to property and to other forms of high value items, they all have a government tax on them. So they all have a tax, a property tax, capital gains tax, profits on earnings if you're a company, whatever it might be. But he doesn't mention a wealth tax on Bitcoin. And that's his fundamental flaw, because he's cherry picking Bitcoin. He is saying that it's unique. It's going to do this, it's going to do that, it's going to go to the moon. We're going to have nearly a $50 million price, which is fine. It might get there. But there will be a property tax or a similar applied to Bitcoin. Do you think for 1 second, based on your own forecasts, showing that Bitcoin is going to go to $280 trillion in value, do you honestly think the American government is not going to want 1% of that, or 0.1%, or whatever it is that the Americans own? Of course they will. So there is going to come a time in the future where we have a specific crypto tax, and it will copy, more than likely, a property tax. Why? Because if you hold stocks and shares, you only pay tax on the profits when you sell them. So if you hold Tesla shares for the next 100 years and never sell them, you never pay tax. Okay? If you hold Bitcoin for the next 100 years and it goes to $500 million per Bitcoin, the government is not going to allow Bitcoin to be seen as gold, paintings, stocks. They're going to tax it. And I would expect a 1% flat rate tax on America. And believe you me, if you go to leave America and the other big countries, they will all collude to create an international crypto tax. And if you think that that's not going to happen, go and have a look at what they are doing with corporation tax. Corporation tax is paid by companies. The big countries didn't like the little countries having 0% corporation tax. So what did the big countries do? They created the international, global, enforceable capital gains tax law, which applies to every country. And how do I know this? Because I keep my eye on it. Cyprus, Malta, Gibraltar, they all had 0, 5%, 10% corporation tax. They now have a minimum of, I believe, 10 or 15% corporation tax. So if they can enforce that on small countries, don't think for 1 second we are not going to see a tax on your Bitcoin. It is coming. And it doesn't mean 15%. There we go, Reza. Good morning, Tariq. So it doesn't mean that Bitcoin is going to 0. It doesn't mean it's all over. What it means is that You think you think there's a field over there with a rainbow and a unicorn and there's a pot of gold and it's your Bitcoin and it's going to stay there forever and nobody can touch it, okay? They will come and they will take your Bitcoin, okay? And I'm not going to share the article that I shared in our Telegram group because we don't have time, but put it this way. There have been instances in history where countries have forcibly taken your assets. And they've done that very recently in America. So don't think it can't happen. Now then, where are we with Bitcoin? Let's have a look. My computer feels as old as I do today. Why is this not coming? Where have my beautiful... Oh, there we go. Here we go. Right then. Remember what I said at the start of the show when I showed you a picture of the bear. Don't feed the bear. Where is the bear waiting for you? The bear is waiting for you here. This is where the bear is going to come and steal all of your bread. Okay? This is where the bear's going to take your hand off. Okay? The poll question today was very simply, are we going to break all-time highs this week? 64% have said yes, 36% have said no. Now, what do I mean? We have got lower highs and we are approaching the moment of truth. And that moment of truth is right here, which is about, let's call it 70,000, 71,000, okay? Look where we are now, 69,500, okay? So we are what, $1,500, we're 2% away. We've moved 2% in the last 24 hours. So this time tomorrow, could we break 70,000 and get to 71,000? Possibly. What do we need to do? Well, put it this way. I am currently scared of the bear. Why am I scared of the bear? Because the bear is going to take me down here. Okay? And that is $54,000. Okay? That's where the bear lives. This is a bear. Okay? It's an angry bear. Very angry bear. Okay? Now, I know we're bullish. I know Trump has come out and said that Bitcoin is going to be a strategic reserve. I know potentially Chairman Powell could come out in 2 days' time and announce a rate cut. I know all of these things. But if we don't break 71,000, then we have some thudding around to do. So that's the worst case scenario. The bear's gone. See, I've removed it from the screen. The bear is gone. So where do we go? We have to break. In my opinion, what I would love to see, try and bring it on the screen a bit more. I would love to see that. Okay? I would like to see some kind of retest just to make sure we're above this line, because this is a scary line. This line goes all the way back to March. Okay? And there's lots of things in our favour. Trump, interest rate cuts potentially, we're above the bull market support band, lots of positive things. But it doesn't mean we're out of the woods. When we were here, we were all happy. Peter was dancing in chat. People was asking me to sing songs. Down here, people wanted to come over and put my lights out for telling me the bull market wasn't over, and he said it was. So, you know, you've got to remember the bad times, and the bad times are around the corner. And I said clearly on chat, this move took 1 month to fall all that way. Okay? We've not even gone 7th of July. 3 weeks later, we've retraced pretty much the entire way. That's how fast we move. We could be, and I'm not saying we're going to be, we could be at $85,000 by the end of August. And that would not be a massive shock to me. We could also go to 54,000 and be back at 74,000 by the end of August. That again wouldn't be a shock to me. What happens is, when we expect this, we get that. And when we expect that, we get that. And all I'm hoping is that we play out and we break it. We are in the bull run. We've got, you know, what have we got? August, September, October, November. We've still got 5 months of this year left. then potentially 8, 9, 10 months of next year left. We've still got a year left, maybe, and more. I'm not panicking. What I'm saying is that's the line where the bears are going to come and steal our bread. Okay, I'm going to leave that circle there. I'm going to move on because it's 11:37 and we are really nowhere near getting through this stream today. Remember, if you are in chat, to smash the like button. If you're new here, say hello in chat and let me know where you're watching from. It's good to hear. And also, if you type in chat, it helps the algorithm. So don't think you're typing too much in chat, by the way, because every time you type, it tells the algorithm that somebody's watching me. So keep typing, it doesn't bother me. Vitalik Buterin addresses the decentralization concerns amidst the Ethereum upgrade debate. Now, whilst I am super bullish on Bitcoin in the long term, which I am, even with a 1% tax, I am not superly bullish on the situation of Ethereum. Not in terms of price action. Price action is fine. I'm worried about the fundamentals of Ethereum and how it's going to work in probably 2 or 3 years' time. And the reason I'm worried is that I think Vitalik has been very naive. He is obviously he's some kind of like super intelligent savant that understands and reads code better than Neo ever could. However, I don't think he's ever come up against the might of the American financial institutions before. My issue is very simple. Ethereum is proof of stake. By staking your Ethereum, you validate the network. And he's set the bar very high for that. You need, is it 64 or 32 Ethereum to have a node? And the Americans have come along and said, we're going to have an ETF. Thank you very much. We're going to buy all of this Ethereum. And what have they done? They have staked it off-chain. So it is not part of the validator network. It is not helping to validate the network. I will say that again. At this moment in time, the Ethereum being bought by the ETFs is not helping to validate the Ethereum network. That's point number one. Point number two, when and what happens when BlackRock owns 20 million Ethereum? And none of it is helping to validate the network. So 1/6 of all Ethereum is sucked out of the network. That's a problem. The centralization is a problem because you have 1/6 of all Ethereum in one place. And we know where that place is. It's the big exchange in America. So we have another issue with centralization. We then have a third issue, which is who controls Ethereum? Like, who is in charge of Ethereum? Because if Ethereum is supposed to be this huge decentralized version, proof of stake version of Bitcoin, it clearly isn't, is it? Because it has the Ethereum Foundation. Who did the Ethereum Foundation sort of answer to? Do they answer to anybody? Are they able to be politically swayed by people? Because the answer is yes. So there's hundreds and hundreds of micro issues with Ethereum that long-term worry me. Short-term, it shouldn't make any difference. Yeah, we're all going to blow up when the sun explodes in 10 million years' time, whenever it is. So the issue is, how soon are we away from this disaster? So we're going to call him Sigagli. We'll call him Siggy. He has voiced concerns about Ethereum's development direction and potential centralization. Buterin strongly denied claims that the research team is moving towards centralization. He highlighted discussions from a recent Foundation research workshop aimed at reducing centralization, including exploring the alternative proposal models, enhancing inclusion lists, and optimizing fork selection based on transaction inclusion. He also mentioned efforts to speed up the deployment of the orbit mechanism. Now, another thing to bear in mind with Ethereum is they have a way of detecting whether a transaction has come through a valid path or not. And that has been implemented at the behest of some level of government somewhere, which again, it's not showing signs of being decentralized when clearly it's showing signs of being of not being censorship resistant. So it began when Ziggy criticized the proposal which would increase Ethereum's blob size to 32 megabytes. It would make it difficult for home stakers to participate, undermining decentralization. Again, if you want to run a node, you have to download the entire blockchain. If you make that blockchain 50 terabytes in size, you can't run a node from home. And that's simply it. So yes, making the blob size, the block size bigger makes it nearly impossible. Bitcoin at the moment is nearly impossible to run from home anyway because of its size. But making Ethereum like this, it'd be impossible for you to run your own node. His response was to reassure the community that decentralization remains a top priority. In a broader perspective, Buterin has previously compared Ethereum's decentralization to that of Bitcoin and other networks. He noted that Ethereum's network is more decentralized than Bitcoin's, where a few mining pools control a significant proportion of the computing power. This comparison underscores Ethereum's commitment to a decentralized structure. The mining pools might have a lot of the computing power, but they don't have all of the miners. They just aggregate them together to get a better rate. So I dispute that claim. But the issue for me is that I don't see Ethereum long-term as being massively decentralized, and I don't see it being censorship resistant as well. So they're my long-term problems with Ethereum. And the Bitcoin maxis and the Ethereum maxis, they go at each other all the time, and I don't know what people expect from them. Anyway, let's move on very quickly. We are going to run out of time unless we get through some of these things. What is happening with Ethereum? We are, let's move some of these drawings made by cavemen. We are back at the top of the bull market support band. That is great to see. Okay, why is it good to see? Because when we're above, we are bullish. When we are below, we are sad. So what would I like to see in the near future? I would expect us to break this and then hopefully something similar to this. That's what I'd like to see. So when we break up, we wiggle around and we go up towards 3,600. I know, well, they're kind of a bit wrong. They don't fit properly. So at the top of the bull market support band, this is a really good point of resistance that if we break again, we could go up. Look, we're up 3.4%. We're back at $3,400. That's kind of where we were at the start of this fiasco with Grayscale. So we've had a good weekend. We need to break up. If we don't and we get rejected, then expect us to come back down to this level here, which is 32.5, call it. So we've got to break 34. 32.5 is support. That's it for Ethereum, because I have a lot to get through and I don't want to miss out. Hong Kong legislator eyes Bitcoin for fiscal reserves. Remember what we said on Friday. Once Donald, the Orange Man Trump, announces that America will use Bitcoin as part of its strategic reserve, there will be a lot of people that follow in his footsteps. Now, you will see the smaller countries go first. We've seen El Salvador. We'll probably see somewhere like Hong Kong, maybe even some of the small territories, Isle of Man or Gibraltar, or I'm trying to think of some other places, Singapore maybe. They will also do the same thing. And then towards the end, you will see bigger and bigger countries. Now, obviously, I am massively biased and I want the UK to hold at least 100,000 Bitcoin. We've already got, 60,000. So I'd like us to have 100,000 Bitcoin. It's not a big move for us to do that. So I'd like to see that. But for smaller countries to get their hands on 1,000, 2,000 Bitcoin, when you're talking about Bitcoin being at 10 million, 20 million and $50 million, we're going to need countries to have take off the myopia and actually see into the future that we need to hold this. That's where I think we're going. So Hong Kong is looking to adopt Bitcoin. This is, again, bullish news. They're going to assess the feasibility and potential benefits of incorporating Bitcoin into the Special Administrative Region's financial reserves. He highlights the importance of considering Bitcoin in strategic financial reserves, fiscal reserves. Now, again, this is a little bit ahead of what I expected. I expected it to go the degen bros. I expected it to go towards early adopters, which would be you, people watching. Then I expected it to go towards corporates. That got blown out of the water by Elon Musk and MicroStrategy. They front run that. Then I was expecting small nation states, maybe a few years down the line. We are, in my opinion, 5 or 6 years ahead of schedule of what I was expecting. We are skipping multiple groups of people to the point where it's gone to nation states. That's the end game. Nation states holding it as a reserve, because it becomes the most valuable thing. And then we're going to see, we've got OPEC, which of course is the oil conglomerate, if you like. Expect something similar, not to control the price of Bitcoin, but to discuss Bitcoin strategy. I expect that within the next 5 or 6 years, if this goes at the speed it's currently going. So Hong Kong will be taking on board probably some level of exposure to Bitcoin. Again, once you get 1 or 2, the ball rolls. Do you think Donald Trump isn't going to be pumping his bags of Bitcoin when he goes around the world? Of course he will. He'll be sitting down next to Keir Starmer in his cagoule saying, "Cagoule, boy, do you have any Bitcoin?" And Keir Starmer will look at him perplexed, clean his glasses, shake his head and say, "We don't grow corn in England." That's probably the conversation that's going to be had. Now, Casper then has halted its network after a security breach. Remember, a lot of you people out there seem to think that Bitcoin is an easy target. Bitcoin is not an easy target at all. What is an easy target are these smaller blockchains with a lower number of miners and a lower hash rate. And they can be attacked. There's a 51% attack where they can start to edit blocks. That happened with Ethereum way back when. That's why you have Ethereum Classic. Other chains have been attacked in the past. We've seen them a few weeks ago, and now Casper has been attacked. It halted the network after discovering a significant security breach. The team has identified the threat and contained it. The Casper Association, Casper Labs and validators community are collaborating to patch the vulnerability. We discovered a significant security breach. The temporary network pause will remain in place until the security team patches the vulnerability. Now, just so we're all clear on this, when a blockchain is halted, transactions don't happen. So when Solana, let's say Solana goes down for an hour, there's no transactions on Magic Eden, there's no transactions on Radium, there's no transactions on Jupiter, there's no earnings or anything of the like going on Camino, Meteora, it all stops. So when Casper says it's halting the blockchain, everything stops. I don't know what goes on Casper, but everything stops. Also posted up again, the team has identified the issue and managed to contain it. The Casper changed hands at 1.9 cents. I don't think I've got the token for that, because I don't think we're going to look at it. We've looked at ETH, we've looked at Bitcoin. I think we're going to look at another one in a bit. But this is the one that, again, I don't go and search out these articles. I have a place where I go and get them from. And real world assets are the #1 buzzword of 2025. It demands a dedicated blockchain, says Mantra CEO. Now, Peter's probably just woken up to the sound of that. The Mantra CEO. Tokenization of real estate and other assets could accelerate greatly, but Mantra CEO John Patrick Mullin believes that general purpose chains aren't fit for the task. Why would I have expected him to not say anything different? The tokenization of real-world assets has the potential to revolutionize traditional finance. Mantra bills itself as such a solution. A security-first Layer 1 blockchain designed to keep up with real-world regulatory requirements. According to Mullin, tokenizing real-world assets involves more than just recording transactions on a blockchain. Dedicated blockchains like Mantra Chain are purpose-built to address these requirements, integrating both legal and technical frameworks essential for managing such complex operations effectively. Now, This is not the first of its kind. We have seen over the last 3 months, at least the last 3 months, we have seen gaming layer 2 blockchains. We have seen an AI SDK blockchain in Orange. If you remember, we made a video about Orange, well worth watching. We have seen the case of real-world asset blockchains being built. We have seen the case of people trying to build chains connecting, for example, Solana to Bitcoin. The chains that exist today may not be the chains that exist in 5 to 6 years' time. You're always going to see these chains pop up, whether as a layer 1 or as a layer 2. Base is a perfect example, built on the Optimism code. That's a pretty brand new layer 2, doesn't even have its own coin. So will Mantra succeed? We'll get into that in a minute. Dedicated blockchains like Mantra are purpose-built. We know this. This approach ensures regulatory compliance. We know about that. As regulatory frameworks progress and technology advances, adoption is likely to accelerate rapidly. Pauline pointed to several factors driving this acceleration, including collaborations with traditional financial institutions. I expect momentum to build through the successful launch of pilot projects. Mullen also highlighted the role of institutional investors in accelerating RWA tokenization, particularly in the commercial real estate. Institutional investors will be increasingly drawn to tokenized real estate for its potential to diversify portfolios, enhance liquidity, and optimize yield management. Mantra's platform is positioning itself to capitalize on this growth by focusing on compliance and security. Does he want to say compliance and security one more time? The architecture incorporates tools that automate the compliance process. There we go again. Such features include identity verification tools, anti-money laundering, compliance checks, and audit trails. This sounds like an advertorial. The capability to unlock liquidity and attract a wider investor pool can notably enhance asset value. Now, I have a massively bullish outlook on Mantra. I also have a massively bearish problem with Mantra. And that is, number one, it's not live. We are in August 2024. We have 12 months left of this bull run, and he is talking about pilot schemes. Ondo is live. Swarm is live. They are both live and transacting. Mantra isn't. Now, I don't know if you remember, I've said this before, Chainlink missed the last bull run by 6 months, 12 months. I think Mantra is going to miss this bull run by 6 to 12 months. They have to fit in and build and demonstrate everything that they can do in 12 months to financial institutions and then grow the project out. Now, if they're handling the KYC for 1 million people, how are they going to cope? If they are trying to handle the legislation, for example, in 50 different jurisdictions, how are they going to cope? So this isn't, when I say I'm bullish, I'm massively bullish on Mantra, but it has massive gaping problems, and one of them is time, and the other is capacity. So what is likely to happen is this is going to pump, but it's going to pump based on speculation. So my advice on Mantra, and it's not financial, would be to sell Mantra in the bull run at peak price, okay? And then, let's go on very quickly. Have we got any time? We actually have time. I managed to catch up. So let me explain what I mean by what I would do with Mantra. It's going to be a great project. Its market cap is $1 billion, okay? Now, $1 billion, but look at how high it's grown, okay? So you could have bought Mantra in November for 2 cents. It's now at $1.17. There's going to be profit taking from Mantra. Absolutely. Maybe that's where we have seen some of these dips. But $1 billion market cap in a bull run could very likely 10x based on FOMO and speculation. But what I would do with Mantra is sell in the bull run and then buy back in at the end of 2026 when it's back down towards maybe, I don't know, 30 cents, 40 cents, something like that. And then I'd buy it back again because it's not got the staying power. People are going to sell off. Now, what's the first thing you sell off? You sell off speculation. Okay, I'm not going to sell probably most of my Bitcoin this bull run because I don't think. I might sell half, but I might sell a quarter. I haven't decided. But the point of the matter is, I am absolutely going to sell pretty much every token I've bought. Near protocol that gets thrown in the sales bin. My ADA, my XRP, it's all gone. I am that hot air balloon, and I am just jettisoning everything out of my hot air balloon, apart from probably my Bitcoin. So Mantra could do a 10x, probably do a 20x. It could absolutely rip, but it's too soon for me in this bull run. I just think it's too late. If it was live, it wouldn't be a $1 billion market cap. It would be a lot higher. It's not live, so it's speculation. I will swap into Sol today. Yes, indeed, Mantra next cycle. I mean, Mantra is massively bullish. What I'd love to see from Mantra is I would love to see them going and speaking to BlackRock, Fidelity, Goldman Sachs. I mean, if they got a major American institution on board, that is a $40-50 billion project right there. But they don't. And it is great, and it is going to be great. Specialized blockchains, I think, have a massive future because it's out of the bag. The same with the AI project, Orange, that I reviewed. It's got everything in there that you need to build an AI project. And they're teaming up with games as well. I mean, it's perfect. It's never going to work this side of the bull run. It's too late now. So then, shameless plug. We have a link in our description to Ledger to go and buy one. We do not advertise or sell many things on this channel because we don't think it's our job to sell you things. But we do think that you should have a Ledger. And we have a link to Ledger down below where you can go and buy one of these new snazzy things. Okay? This is a cold storage wallet. This is where you keep your crypto if you think that somebody's going to come and take it from you. If a higher power is going to come and take your things, then you hide it. Everybody talks about Turbo, Peter. I would, if I was you, Ponk is the play. There's a load of people talking about Ponk right now, so I would stick with that. I wouldn't diverge from Ponk for a while because it's in a lot of it's on the tongues of a lot of people at the minute. Turbo, people were talking about it 3 or 4 weeks ago, and now it's starting to calm down. Ponk and Bonk for that matter as well, and also Bohm and things like that, they're all starting to pick up. So anyway, I'm not going to sell it yet because it's not my job, but if you haven't got a cold storage wallet, you need to get a cold storage wallet and you need to put your crypto on it. But the caveat to that is you need to know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, don't go anywhere near it. But they're like, the cheapest one is I think $100. That's like 80 quid. And in Australia, I don't think an Australian dollar's worth a lot these days, is it? So I think in Australian dollars, it's about 5,000 Australian dollars, I think. The exchange rate is absolutely crazy over there. Well, I mean, if you want to look at Turbo, look at Turbo. Now then, the reason I'm not going to tell you to look at Turbo is the last article is, we are 12:01 already. Okay, so the last article, and this is to try and detract you. I am trying to give you non-financial advice here, and that is that please don't chase. I'm going to bring it up in a minute. We're going to overrun by 5 or 10 minutes because it's important, and I did do this on Friday, and we'll do it again today because there's new people watching. Solana meme coin graveyard. Majority of June launches have collapsed. We don't need to go into a lot of this. Solana blockchain emerges as a hub for people who like joke currencies. Are Solana meme coins dead? we covered the celebrity tokens on Friday. We don't need to look at that. But there is a chart showing, where is it? There we go. This is the chart that we had up. This is bubble maps. We've checked how much of the supply was sniped by insiders in those celebrity coins. Supply control is bullish. So again, what is happening is you are seeing a Sylvester Stallone coin and you're going, oh, I love Rambo. Rambo's cool. And then you're going to go and buy it. And the insiders, who are people that work for the celebrity, they are buying the tokens at the very beginning. And then as you come in to buy the token, they're selling the token to you, and then they're taking the money. So they're getting the money on the run up, and you're being left with a token that drops to zero. And it is a rinse and repeat every goddamn day. Okay? And what I want to try and portray to you is, not Peter, this isn't aimed at Peter, I'm not talking to Peter specifically, he's got Ponk. And he's got a very valid reason for holding Ponk, by the way, which he bases his investments on circulating supply, and that is as good a way as any. Right, so this is, okay, what you need to understand, let's go to the bottom. Okay. There comes a point in every meme token's life where it stops having the ability to be rubbed. Okay? Now, it's a fairly low price. Okay? Probably, I would say, anything below about 10, I'd say 10 to 20 million. Okay? Anything below 10 or 20 million is still likely to be rubbed. However, I'm not here to tell you about a $10 million meme coin. We've tried that in the past. Some of them have done exceptionally well. Some of them have gone to zero, but we tried to give those tokens away. Now, personally, I would look at a cap of $100 million to buy a meme coin. Okay? It still has the opportunity to go to $1 billion or even $2 billion in the bull run. I don't know. But the point of the matter is, you are in the most high risk category of investment in the world. And then you're going into the highest risk category of that particular investment. So whatever money you put into crypto, you keep it in Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana, you keep it safe. And then what you do is you take a tiny corner, a sliver of your investment, $50 or $100, and you go and play in meme coins, okay? You keep your crown jewels safe. And then, yes, go up and down this list. You are just as likely as I am to find 5 winners out of these meme coins, okay? Because they just pump for no reason. Andy, could that pump to $1 billion? Yes. MAGA Trump? Yes. Turbo? Yes. But, and this is where it gets also quite important to realise, why are you going to buy Turbo at $363 million? Where do you think it's going to go? Do you think it's going to go to $1 billion? Maybe. That's a 3x. So when it goes to $1 billion and you've 3x your money, what should you do? You should sell it. This is not, you do not have a marriage certificate with Pepe, okay? You didn't elope to Las Vegas with Brett, okay? Don't get married to these tokens. Boom. I bought at 1 cent. It went up to 2 and a bit cents. I didn't sell because it wasn't high enough. It came down to whatever it came down to, and now it's back at 1 cent. When it gets to 3-4 cents, I'm selling it. Now, 3 or 4 cents for Bohm would put it at 2.1 billion. Fairly high, I know. Is it going to get there? Maybe not, but I put $40, $50 in. Ponke could quite easily go to $2. Quite easily go to $2. Would I sell it at $2? You bet your bottom dollar I would. And anybody out there watching should take profits. Ponke will reach over $15 this bull run. Ooh. What's that, a 30x? It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. 10 billion. If you look at where Shiba went to $36 billion. So it's possible, but I don't know. Anyway, the point of the matter is, if you're going to buy meme coins, my rule anything over $100 million is more than likely not going to rug pull you. But conversely, you have meme coins that are without volume. I mean, look at the volume of Doggy on Mars. It's got 2 million volume. Look at this one. Wolf, $1 million in volume. So look at the volume. What are people trading these coins? Because if they're not, you're going to buy it and it's just going to sit there. Look at that one, Turbo, $75.5 million in volume. Okay, now we're getting serious. 109, $319 million in volume on Book of Mome. The one above, 30. Look at the volume after you've looked at the market caps as well. Exactly. Anyway, I'm going to go now because it's 12:08. I need a shower and I need to. I have a meeting in 30 minutes' time. So thank you, everybody. Remember, we are here in the background. We're trying to work on sponsorship deals every day. We're trying to work on sponsorship deals so we can do giveaways every day. Nothing would make me happier than giving away $10, $15 a day on the stream and giving you guys tokens. Nothing would be happier than having the Wednesday night streams where we sit around and have a glass of non-alcoholic wine, go on camera, have a good chat to you. But we just have to keep working, and we've got 9 potential leads at the minute just to sponsor the channel. And it takes hours of discussions and hours of all of these things to talk about length of contracts, how much we're going to give away, what level of adverts we show. It takes forever. So we are working in the background. It's just taking a lot of time. Anyway, I will see you in the morning. Brogan is back tonight at 9 p.m. So make sure to tune in tonight for the trading show. It's in the calendars. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you, Peter and Reza and Kishan and Tariq and everybody else that's in here. I'll see you all in the morning. Goodbye.